There are three types of symbols in Flash: movie clip symbols, button symbols, and graphic symbols, and each of them has slightly different characteristics. So let's look at each type. I'm going to start by inserting a new symbol. So right click, or instead of that I could go insert new symbol, and I'll call this one my graphic, and I'll make it a graphic symbol. And into here I'll create a I might draw a little bird. So I'll use a line tool, and I'll go down and up, and I might make the stroke a bit thicker and give them a bit of a flap. Okay, so if we look in my library, I've got my graphic, which is a little bird. Now I'm going to insert another symbol, and this one I'm going to make into a movie clip, and I'll call it my movie clip. And I'm going to do a bird, but I'll make this one red. A red bird. There we go, and once again I'll bend his or her wings, and we see I've got two symbols in the library: my graphic, my movie clip. And finally I'll do one more, insert a new symbol, and I'll call this one my button. And this one I might actually do something different. I'll just draw a rectangle, and I might fill it with red as well. Okay, so we've got three symbols, and remember we said that these symbols exist in the library, but they can be dragged onto the stage. So I might oops, I made my button a movie clip. You can actually change it if you've made it into the wrong thing. You can right click it in the library, and you can go to properties, and my button I'm going to change into a button, which I should have done in the first place. And you'll notice the little symbol there shows us it's a button. This symbol here means a graphic, and this means a movie clip. So I'm just going to drag them onto the stage. There's my button, there's my graphic, and there's my movie clip. And I better just put some text next to them so we know what they are. So that's button, graphic, and movie clip. And what we're trying to do is to see the differences between these, because each of them has different characteristics. I'll just align them. Okay. Whoa. Line to stage. Just move them across. There. Okay. If I go into each of these symbols, if I go into my movie clip, we see I'm in my movie clip, it has its own timeline. If I go into the graphic, it has its own timeline. And if I go into the button, it has its own timeline. Now the button timeline is slightly different to the graphic and the movie clip timelines. It's got only 4 frames. So if I go to the graphic timeline to start, I'm just going to do some frame by frame animation. So I'll just put in a new keyframe, and go F6, and I'll just change the bird slightly. A new one, new keyframe, change the bird slightly, oops, and one more. It's not going to look very realistic, but at least it'll have some animation in it. Okay, we can see there's my flying bird. And I'm going to go on to my so my graphic actually has now 4 frames of animation in it. I'm going to go into the movie clip and do the same thing. So I'll insert a keyframe and change the bird. Oopsies. So a keyframe, change the bird. It's going to be a very wonky sort of flying bird, this one. Put a keyframe in and change the bird. And now we've got an animated movie clip bird. And I'm going to go into the button symbol, and we'll see here I've only got the 4 frames, and there's actually, the way Flash treats buttons is that it uses the different states of a button, so it doesn't actually animate along the frames. So for the overstate, I'm going to put in a keyframe, and I might just give it a green fill. So if I look there, so there, and for the downstate, I might put in a keyframe, and I might actually move it down a bit and to the right a bit. Maybe give it a grey, so a grey fill. Maybe make the outside a bit darker as possible. Yeah. So now what? Oops, no, I've got 7 frames there. Sorry. Remove frames. Remove frames. I just screwed it up. Sorry. That one and that one, I want to remove those frames. Okay, so I've got 3 frames, up, over and down. So for each of my symbols now has its own little timeline doing stuff. For the button, it's got the up, over and down state. The graphic has the 4 frames of animated black bird, and the movie clip has the animated 4 frames of red bird. So what I'm going to do, they're on the stage, I'm just going to run this movie now and see what happens. So control test movie, or control enter. And some interesting things happening. Our timeline has only 1 frame on it, on the main timeline, even though inside the each of the separate symbols we can see that there's a number of frames. So how's this? Why is this the case? So let's see what's happening. For the button, up, over, down state actually works like a button. So as I move over it, it jumps to the overstate, and if I click it, it goes to the down state and then back to the overstate. So a button symbol behaves like a button. The movie clip symbol is animating its 4 frames, but the graphic symbol seems to be just sitting there. Now why is this the case? Well, the difference between these 3 types of symbols is that the button symbol does the button thing, roll over and click. A graphic symbol, its timeline, if I just double click it to look at it in context, its timeline synchronizes to the main timeline. Because the main timeline only has 1 frame on it, the graphic symbol sits on its first frame and does nothing. A movie clip symbol, if I double click it, it plays its animation irrespective of what's happening on the main timeline. So it's got a non-synchronized timeline. That's why the movie clip is just playing, looping through, and the graphic is sitting there. Now, if I was to add in another 4 frames on the main timeline, you'd see that when we run it, now the graphic and the movie clip are both running. So you actually need the same number of frames or more on the main timeline to see a graphic animation, and that'll be very important when we build our Rube Goldberg machine. Another additional thing you'll notice is that for the movie clip, you don't actually see its animation on the main timeline. You actually have to test the movie to be able to see its animation. So a button, up, over, down states, a graphic synchronizes to the main timeline, and a movie clip independent of the main timeline. The movie clip has other advantages in that it can contain sound, a graphic can't, and a movie clip can be controlled by ActionScript, and in the other classes you'll learn more about that.